Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I want to talk to you about the basics of tactical gameplay, and today I want to focus on survival. Now, not just like hiding from guys, but how to engage people in firefights and give yourself the best odds of surviving. You always want to make sure that you have the best cover possible. You're peeking as least as you need to reduce the angle that you're exposed to. The lesser the angle that you're exposed to, the lesser chances that you're going to be shot at from different angles that you weren't aware of. And also, if you're only going to engage one guy around a corner, you should only peek around a corner only enough just to see that one person. Don't peek all the way around the corner or come out 3 feet from the corner, giving yourself a clear view of your enemy, but potentially also opening yourself up to a whole bunch of other people who are looking to take shots at you. A key component of surviving is making sure that you can bear your sights on your enemies before they can do that to you. A common thing I see all the time and always end up taking down my enemies who are sprinting. If you ever get caught sprinting and somebody peeks a corner, you're pretty much dead as long as that person knows how to shoot relatively accurately. It might only seem like it takes a split second to bring your rifle up and start shooting, but that split second in Battlefield in any shooter is basically going to be your demise. So you want to give yourself as much time advantage over your opponent to win firefights. As you can see, I move around most corners while aiming down sights. I make sure I aim down sights, scan an area before I run between cover. Sprinting, of course, you're going to have to do a lot of that in this game, but when you're sprinting, you want to make sure you're doing it between cover and not into battle so much. Situational awareness is a big part of surviving in Battlefield 3, using your sound to anticipate where your enemies are, using the minimap, constantly checking that minimap to see where the enemies are, and your teammates. Often a skull and crossbones on the minimap will tell you a pretty big story about where the enemies are. If you see a guy run around a corner, all of a sudden he turns into a little skull and crossbone on your minimap, there's a pretty good chance that somebody's watching that angle pretty closely. So you can anticipate what you're going to need to do from there to survive. Either don't go around that corner, find a different corner to go around. Many times I try and avoid corners where there's already a lot of teammates. If you got 3 guys having a firefight around one corner and you're seeing lots of return fire coming their way, chances are you don't want to become the 4th guy on that corner. There's already bullets coming that way. They seem to have enough backup. Find a different corner that the enemy is not already shooting at bad guys at. So you want to find different routes, paths of least resistance. A lot of these tactics seem like common sense, and I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, well, no duh, this is how you stay alive, you know, don't do stupid things in Battlefield. Yet I still see so many people doing really dumb things in this game. And it's not just a skill-based game, you know, I mean, having quick reaction times, good accuracy, that is going to help you out a lot. It's going to be a big factor in Battlefield, but just not subjecting yourself to bad situations frequently is a even better way to survive. I see a lot of good players come from different games into Battlefield, and they try and use some faster paced tactics, running around, running and gunning tactics, which are fun, but not always as good for surviving on certain maps. And they'll have a hard time with Battlefield, so you got to make sure that you're taking cover as best as possible. And I'll admit that corner I peeked right there was not the best job. Kind of overexposed myself, and I can watch my footage back and know where I need to improve on. You know, sometimes I get a little excited and I'll pop around a corner too excitedly, overexpose myself, and that'll be the end of me. A lot of people think that if they just keep playing video games more and more, they'll just automatically get better at it, and part of that is true. Your reaction times, your accuracy will get a little bit quicker, you'll understand the maps a little bit better, but at the same time you also need to constantly be critical of your own gameplay. Can you recognize what you did wrong in a situation, or are you the kind of player who's just gonna kind of bitch about the game mechanics and say blame your deaths on lag or that sort of thing? If you are, then it's going to be very difficult for you to improve your gameplay. You have to make sure you know what's getting you killed. Every situation, almost every situation in this game where you die can be avoided, and you just have to look at each death and think, what could I have done to try and prevent that? Something I struggled with not that long ago, and it's something that occasionally I make this mistake every now and then, but it's reloading as I'm coming around a corner. I'll shoot some guy, I'll kind of back around the corner, and then I'll start the reload process, and before the reload process is finished, I'll peek back around that corner. Somebody will be there watching it, and I won't be able to return fire, and I'll end up dying. So that's just something that I always used to make that mistake, you know, just peeking corners while still using the reload animation, and it really hurt my gameplay. Now this clip here on Donia Fortress is a good example of me using cover to try and make up for the reload time on my weapon. You'll see there's a lot of very close quarter engagements where I'm going to drop 1 or 2 people, and I know there's going to be more there, so I'm going to back up to do the reload and try and find some cover as fast as possible during the reload animation. This is very important, just backing up a little bit, making sure you're not right at a corner when you need to do that reload. Okay, I go for the reload, I run back here. I know there's probably more guys down there, so I'm taking cover during that reload. I don't want to wait right at a corner where I think somebody could pop around at any second and catch me during a reload animation. You want to give yourself as much protection during that reload animation. Something I also do when I'm reloading a weapon is I generally hover my thumb over my switch to secondary button. It's my thumb button on my mouse, and it switches me to my pistol. So during that reload animation, if somebody surprises me by coming around that corner, my thumb is in the ready position to switch to my pistol and drop them. Earlier in this video, I talked about situational awareness. That seems like kind of a broad term. It just means be aware of your environment, but some of the specifics that can really help you be aware of your environment are having a good sound system for positional accuracy, being able to hear where your enemies are coming from, being able to tell how far away gunfire is very important. Another thing is just looking around a lot. Something that I learned in Airsoft that I wasn't doing as much, and that I've actually applied to Battlefield 3 a little bit more, is that whenever you get into a new environment, you want to look around. You want to check your left, check your right, just look all around you to make sure you know what's going on. Because every time you move from one location to another, there's a whole new variety of angles that you've exposed yourself to. And if you're only worrying about one little narrow area where you think there's guys, oftentimes somebody's going to sneak up on you or have an angle on you. And if you don't look around, you're going to get shot in the back. Now, when you feel pretty comfortable about your gameplay in general, you're starting to pop up on the top of scoreboards, feeling like you're really dominating certain firefights, knowing what you're doing, feeling very confident with your aim, you can start to focus on more of the minute things. And that's what I'm definitely doing with my gameplay. It's looking on minute things that often get me killed, and those are hard things to recognize sometimes. Sometimes it'll take you a long time of gaming before you realize that, oh, these are the things that are actually getting me killed in these situations. One of those is that I'm always trying to find the quickest path between point A and point B. Obviously, it ends up being a straight line most of the times, and what that has me doing is I'm jumping over things like plant pots, curves, areas that I don't necessarily need to be jumping over, and I often get caught mid-jump in a firefight and it gets me killed. Or you get caught trying to jump over some cover, your aim or your sights just kind of get all wonky, you have a hard time seeing what you're shooting at, and that'll get you killed. So I'll just take the extra little bit of time now to run around a curb, run around a plant pot, a bench, whatever it is, if I feel like I'm in an area where a bad guy might pop out. It's starting to save my life a lot more now. So just try and avoid having your feet leaving the ground if you don't have to. Anyway, there's a variety of basic to advanced tactics in there for trying to survive better in Battlefield 3. I'm sure 99% of these tactics are going to all apply to Battlefield 4. Something that I've been practicing, trying to get better because I want to be at the top of my game as soon as Battlefield 4 comes out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.